Hey, everybody. Thank you very, very much for joining us again for our Wednesday webinars or Webinar Wednesdays. I'm really blessed to have Mike Begg from AMZ Advisors. And we were talking, normally we don't talk at all. I don't talk at all, so I don't want to run out of stuff to say before we start recording. But we were talking about content marketing and data-driven and how Amazon sellers should learn how to do a lot more by themselves. So I'm really looking forward to talking to Mike and having him teach you guys how to handle issues yourself, content marketing, and all the other stuff that he's involved in. So, Mike, if you can, introduce yourself to our sellers and just give a little brief history of how, one, I want to know where you live, okay, and how you got into this space.
Okay, sounds good. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on the show, CJ. I really appreciate it. I'm excited to talk to your audience. My name's Mike, originally from Connecticut, and I actually live now in Guadalajara, Mexico. That's where my life has brought me right now. But what we do is AMZ Advisors. We're a Amazon consulting firm. We also have another business that does content marketing and a third business that does software development for Amazon sellers. So we're pretty busy.
Well, you tell me where you want to start. I know I really want to get into content marketing. We could leave that for the end. Where do you want to start? About the service you provide and how you help sellers help themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always good to just kind of talk about that a little bit. And, there is a huge market now of Amazon consultants, but I think a lot of them don't necessarily know what they're doing. They're not the best and they're not being honest with people. So really, I think it's important to, kind of talk about who needs a consultant and when you should really focus on your own. I think too many sellers that, they're looking for an easy way. They want to just put their product on there. They want someone else to handle it. That really doesn't work. I think you need to be doing, 20,000 or more a month before it really makes sense to even bring someone on to kind of help you manage things.
I got to tell you, I agree with you 100%, especially as more and more sellers get on, the market gets more competitive and the profit margins are getting narrower and narrower, that sellers really need to know more. Like I tell you, I also am a big believer in farming out tasks that other people can do better. So I have a feeling we're going to agree on a lot of stuff and we may disagree a bit.
Yeah, no, I agree with that too. I mean, I think there's a few instances where it makes sense. Like I said, if you're making enough money, it makes sense. If it's not your main sales channel, if you rely on retail or your Shopify website or even Walmart or eBay, another platform is your focus and takes more of your time, commit your time to that. Then it makes sense maybe to have someone come in and run the Amazon side of the business for you. But yeah, I mean, too many sellers, we get too many inquiries just like, hey, can you do this for us? And it just doesn't make sense.
Let's talk about some specifics. What are the things that you teach Amazon sellers to do better by themselves?
That's a good question. I mean, what we do at AMZ Advisors is, we bring our clients in. We really got to make sure that we're able to add value. We try to teach them, how to create SEO content. And we actually will create the content for them as well, so they can kind of see what we do. We'll create graphic design for all their product photos, for infographics, things like that. And then we'll teach them how to create marketing strategies. We'll teach them how to do the advertising. So we really cover all aspects of Amazon and try to help our clients, understand how they can be successful on the platform.
So if you're like creating a graphics, right? You're helping with their listings, and then you give them the graphic. Do you teach them how to like put on their listing, how to improve their listing themselves?
Yeah, we teach them what the main points are and what shoppers are looking for the most. Graphic design it's a good example because I think it's a good value add, but unless you really have a background in graphic design, it's not something you're gonna be able to do yourself. So a lot of times that is a task you need to outsource to someone that understands how to do it and is able to create the good content that you need to actually convert, people that are browsing into an actual customer.
Well, when you're talking now, so now you're going from graphic design, providing with like the logos or the artwork, now you're getting into the listing. How does it logistically work? Like, how do you actually take that seller and say, okay, we're going to do the graphic design for you because that's an art, right? But then how do you take that and help them make their listing better?
Well, I mean, it's all a discussion. It's all back and forth. We need to figure out, what the main selling points of their product are. And I mean, it's a good way to look back at, kind of what the feedback is that they've gotten from customers, what they've liked, what they haven't liked, and really reinforcing those points into the graphics. I mean, the shopper has such a short attention span, and generally photos is a great way to capture it. So really getting into it that way.
The conversations with the sellers, I think, is huge. What we do, we help with plans of action and suspensions and intellectual property issues. And every time we pick up a file, anytime any one of my paralegals in any of the 3 conference rooms picks up a file, they have to call that seller. It's a requirement, because you can't possibly draft a great plan of action without the seller on the phone knowing what the business is about. And I love that you actually talk to sellers, because sellers need that. Sellers can't speak to anyone with a brain at Amazon, right? In seller support, it does not have a reputation of being like overly helpful. So sellers out there, you need help. You actually get to speak with Mike or his team, and they actually talk with you. And I'm sure you point out some stuff that it's already good and other stuff that's lousy and sort of everything in between.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, when we bring in a new account, or even if we're kind of looking at a potential client, we'll go through their account, let them know what areas we think can be improved, what we would do to improve it, and it's just honest feedback. I mean, communication is key. Whether you're working with yourself on a suspension issue, or you're working with a consultant on creating good content for your listings, or advertising, whatever it may be, you need to be able to communicate well, and you need to be able to have a good relationship with them.
Okay, if you had to give just a couple of flat out tips right now for making a detail page better, doing your descriptions better, what would they be?
I think I kind of talked about it a little bit. It's really about finding the pain points for the customers and what's important to them. So a good way to do that is kind of looking at what your competitors are doing, what content that they have, what their feedback is, and then identifying the main keywords that the customers are talking about, what they're saying about the product, what issues they have with it, what works well, and then finding ways to incorporate that into the copy. I think it's,
what you're talking about, I just got back from Thailand about a week ago. We talked about it a bit. You're in Guadalajara. I am super jealous, okay? When I was in Thailand, I attended this thing called the Empire Retreat, sponsored by Empire Flippers, and they're business brokers who really focus on online businesses. And it was a mastermind group. I spoke to the Amazon sellers, but I also participated in it. And from there, I went to the Lynn Academy in Manchester in England. And both events really were driving home the client experience, or the customer experience. I turned the word client, and focusing on what your customers are looking for, what those points are, and then working backwards from that in your detail page, I think is a huge takeaway. I mean, to me, that's what I'm hearing. I'm like, if you're a seller, work from your customers backwards. And this is one of Amazon's principles, right? You start from the customer experience and work backwards. And Bezos was right. I mean, love him or hate him, right? The guy's right.
Yeah, 100%. It's all the customer's experience, and that's really what's going to make your listing successful on Amazon. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but if the customer doesn't care about it, there's no point.
So, right. All right. Let me stop for a second, because someone has just posted that we're frozen, and I hope we're not. So, okay. Callie, I see you're there. Dean, you're there. I hope we're not frozen right now. I hope my team is watching this thing to make sure we're not frozen. If we are, I'm frozen. You can't hear me anyway. But let's keep going. I hope we're not frozen. Okay, so moving on from the listings, in terms of the advisory part of your business, and I want to put your website here. It's AMZ Advisers with an E, right?
Yes, it is. .com.
Okay, what other types of things that you help Amazon sellers do, just from that end of what you do to help sellers?
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on exactly what they're looking for. But one thing that we definitely try to help with is the advertising. It's an incredible opportunity to really add value and just take advantage of additional traffic that's going to Amazon. I mean, the advertising environment on Amazon itself is getting more and more competitive as more and more sellers come onto it. You're seeing keyword bids go up, and you're requiring to spend more budgets. You need to be as efficient as possible with your advertising dollars. And a lot of times that requires incorporating other aspects of Amazon, whether that be a promotional strategy. That's typically what we do, and try to find the ways to maximize our advertising dollars on the Amazon platform.
I think that's also vital, because again, profit margins are getting slimmer. Competition is increasing. Also, Dean and Callie, Thank you very, very much. We are not frozen. We are fresh and working. And if you send me your domestic address, you will get a free copy of a book. Amazon actually over-delivered in our last orders. I got 1,000 extra books.
Oh, wow.
Give me your domestic address. I'll send anybody a free copy of the book. I'd really like to get them out of my office. So anyway, I think that's really great because you're right. You need guidance. And this is one of the things that I think not only do you have to teach Amazon sellers, but I think they're probably better off like using you for it, because that's such a fine art of figuring out how much to spend, when to spend it, and where to spend it, So I think that's a really, really killer service. And you have to then work that into your profit margins to see, where it is your profit margin lies, and then how big, and then how much you need to scale for it to really make sense.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And advertising is just one aspect of it. There are a lot of things you can do, like creating promotional strategies that will help increase your product's visibility. And that's kind of, something I was going to talk about a little bit later. But just some simple things you can do to really improve your account based on the sales data that you're getting from Amazon. Because, that's the greatest source you have.
Well, let's segue right into that, because I got to tell you, listen, we know suspensions, we know intellectual property law, and I know arbitrations, okay? Mm-hmm. Amazon screws you over. They won't resolve it amicably. I know how to take them to arbitration. I use all my skills as a former trial lawyer, okay? But I don't know anything about the promotional activities, except when we once in a while we'll see some issues, but it's kind of rare. Mm-hmm. So tell me about the promotional activities, educate our sellers, and then if they want more information, they can visit your website. And I'm going to hit you up for your direct contact information towards the end.
Sure, no problem.
Let's talk about Amazon promotional activities.
Yeah, well, I think that, there's a couple different options for promoting on Amazon. You have coupons, you have discount promotions, advertising kind of falls into that. So there is, you have so much data on Amazon when you look into your business reports and things like that. I think that what every seller can do on their own is kind of look at that data and find the opportunities to improve their sales account. There's really two things that each seller struggles with. It's either going to be, getting traffic to your listings or getting the shoppers that are going to your listings to convert. So those are the two issues that everyone has, and you can really find that in your business reports by looking at your page views, your sessions for your traffic, and then figuring out your conversion rates. So the goals would be to, how can you create a promotional strategy to, increase both of those? And, one of the ways you can do it that we kind of try to help our customers with is, number one, increasing their their average order value. So, a simple way to do that is just creating tiered promotions within your Amazon account. So, you buy 2, you get 5% off or 10% off, whatever it is. Buy 3. The more you buy, a larger discount you get. Allows you to move more inventory. It increases that average order value, because it's easier to get a customer to your page to buy once than it is to get 4 customers to your page to buy once. It's all about converting them and increasing that conversion rate.
When you say when you buy more, you get better deals, it makes sense, like a volume discount in any business. Exactly. Does that mean you have to sort of run the campaigns longer, or does that mean you're purchasing separate campaigns that you kind of sort of space out over time, or what is? I don't get it.
So it's just a promotion that we're offering, within in the page itself. It's something that, a customer might see when they're going to shop. Not everyone's going to want to buy, 2 garlic presses or whatever it is. You only need 1, but sometimes it can help increase your average order value if you have a product that customers are particularly interested in.
So it could be like the garlic press, and then something to put the garlic in.
Yeah, you could do a cross promotion like that, something like that. It's incredible. There's a lot of different ways to do that. Another way that we really focus on increasing conversion rates would be utilizing coupons. Coupons, they have a lot of really good visibility on Amazon. They show up on every.
I'm sorry to speak over you. Isn't it great? What's old is new again. Coupons are 100 years old.
Yeah, exactly.
Clipping coupons, saving it in your wallet, bring it to the store. My mother did it. My awesome wife does it now, which is incredible. My wife rocks. She doesn't rock because she clips coupons. She's just a really, really great girl, great woman. But what's old is new again. Coupons have always worked. Now you're just taking it into our space, into the Amazon space. So how do the coupons work on Amazon?
Yeah, I mean, it's so true. They work incredibly, and it's such an old marketing tactic that it's interesting that you see it still work, but it's psychological for the consumer. You know, they see a discount, they think they're getting a deal, they're more likely to buy it. So essentially, with a coupon, you know, you're getting more visibility. It's showing up on the search results pages, telling you that, you know, there's a little badge that says, you know, 5% off, 10% off, whatever the discount is. It's also showing up on the page when you go to it, right below the price, telling you there's a coupon. So it's very highly visible. It also adds you to the coupon page on today's deals. So it really helps provide a lot of visibility to your product on different parts of Amazon. And the great thing is you don't need to give a huge discount. I mean, the minimum discount you can give is 5%. And we've seen that work incredibly well. Some of our clients have had great results just giving a 5% coupon on their products.
And so if you're working that in, right, I mean, there's nothing wrong theoretically with actually marking it up 5% and then offering a 5% discount. Because again, in most products, the 5% isn't anything more but an emotional draw. It's salesmanship, it's marketing.
Exactly, 100%. And one of the great things it does is it combines very, very well with advertising campaigns. It's a great way to make your advertising campaigns more effective because you're paying for that click to get the customer to the page. So why not give them that little discount to try to turn them into an actual buyer instead of, you know, just a browser?
How do you work them into each other? Like, how do you lead the discounts into the promotional activities, into the other steps that you take?
Well, I mean, it kind of all works together on its own. You know, it's when you're running an ad, it's not necessarily going to show up on the ad if you're running like a headline search ad or something, but they'll see it when they click through to the page. It has a lot of visibility once it's on the page, and that's the important thing. You know, we'll combine them similar to like with the promotional strategy, depending on what we're trying to do. And you know, the discounts will combine, and it'll give a little bit more than the intended amount. But again, the whole point is to try to sell as many products as possible. And it's easier to sell a product to someone who's already, you know, interested in buying one, getting them to buy 2 or 3 or whatever it is, than, you know, trying to get 3 people to come into your page and buy the product.
Absolutely. It's much easier to convert once they're there rather than get them to land.
Exactly.
There's a saying, it goes something like, it's easier to ride the horse in the direction that it's going, right?
Yes.
So consumers already in your store, they're already looking at your product. You know, these are just things that help you convert. All right. Now, you know, I'm a huge fan of content marketing. Okay. We have on our website well over 1,000 pages of content. We have our entire law library accessible on our page. It's broken down by category. And that by itself is like, I don't know, 550 pages of every case that Amazon's been involved in since like 96 or so, since inception. So what I want you to talk about is how you see content marketing. I want to take the conversation over there. How does content marketing help sellers?
Well, it depends what your strategy is. I mean, there's content everywhere. Amazon has its own SEO content that figures into the algorithm. So when you're creating your, you know, product descriptions, you're creating your bullet points, that's all content marketing in a way. But when we're talking about off-platform content marketing or even content marketing through the Amazon advertising platform or Amazon DSP, whatever it's called now, you're creating, you know, video, you're creating content, you know, it could be written, could be video, could be images, something that the customer, the shopper can connect with. It needs to have a good message that draws them in, and then that gets them interested in learning more about your product. It's a sales funnel. It's a soft lead. You're trying to get them to connect with it. You're trying to get them to learn more. You're trying to foster a relationship with them. And then once, you know, they're in a position, you want to try to get them to buy. So a lot of times off of Amazon, that'll come to creating a sales funnel through, you know, Facebook advertising or advertising on other social media, influencer marketing. There's a whole lot of different ways that you can get traffic, but it's really your content that's got to draw them in and make them feel a connection to your brand.
Yeah, 100%. Before we came online, we were talking about a book called Jab, 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 Right Hook or something like that. Mm-hmm. It was fantastic. What it does, it tells you basically give information, give content, and then the consumers come back to you.
Yeah.
So it's a huge thing. One, it pays it forward, allows people who really are not at the stage yet where they can, you know, afford services or afford certain things to really learn about it and take it, make it their own. And for other sellers, it just brings them back. I mean, it develops trust in you, trust in your product, trust in your brand. And I think this is absolutely vital for sellers because you're getting more and more and more competitive. There are more and more sellers coming online. Amazon is totally stepping up its game and jumping into taking your products away from you and becoming it. Amazon retail is a monster when they jump onto your products. Mm-hmm. Big believer in also developing brands as a defense to that. So, all right, Mike, what else would you think Amazon sellers need to know from your end? I think it was Mark Twain wrote, that the captains needed to know their own portion of the river, right? Mm-hmm. This is your portion of the river: content marketing, advertising, helping sellers with their detail pages. What else do you think sellers need to know about what AMZ Advisor can do to help sellers?
Okay. Well, I think a good way to look at it is, when you're working with a consultant, when you're working with anyone that's trying to help your business, it's being able, like I said, communication, honest communication, going back and forth. But one way we really try to help is try to find new opportunities for you. So we're going to try to, we're going to go through your catalog. We're going to see what your competitors are doing. We're going to look for new product opportunities. We're going to try to help you consider, things outside the box, new ways to show off your product. It's, Amazon is evolving so quickly, and you're saying it, they're getting into new product markets. They're taking their share of the market from, these traditional third-party sellers that have been on the platform for years. We're seeing it happen a lot with our clients. So by staying more ahead of the curve, by being nimble, by being able to create products quickly, that's going to help your business grow. But really having a great fundamental understanding of how, Seller Central, or if you're on Vendor Central works for you, is going to, kind of help you navigate the platform. When you're partnered with a consultant or a consultancy, you want to understand what they're talking about to make sure that they're actually telling you the truth and it makes sense. So again, learning yourself is very important. But if you don't have the time, then maybe it makes sense to bring someone else in to help you.
All right, guys. So I'm sorry, I got something in my eye. AMZ Advisors, what is the contact information to reach you directly?
Yeah, the best way to reach me directly is at my personal email. It's mike@amzadvisors.com. You can also reach us at our general email, which is info@amzadvisors.com.
I'm giving out personal direct information. I'm like this close to asking for your cell phone number.
Yeah, I'm not going to give that right now, but
Mike at AMZ Advisors with an ERS. Mike at AMZ Advisors. Reach out to him. Remind him that you learned of him. You saw how good looking he was from our webinar, and he will hook you up. Okay. Also, at the end of every broadcast, most people who put these webinars out self-promote. Okay. I'm not going to do that. If you've been watching any of my videos, I always ask at the end of the video that if you're shopping on Amazon, and most of us do, I know we got a delivery just about every day of something coming from Amazon. Okay. Shop through the Amazon Smiles program, and you can pick a charity. Okay. And it doesn't cost the consumer anything at all. I mean, absolutely cost the consumer nothing at all. But if you don't have a charity that you're already funding, that you're already involved with, please choose the Ty Lewis Campbell Foundation. Ty was my buddy, my fraternity brother's son. They diagnosed his cancer at 3. He passed away by 5 after 2, incredibly awful years of just awful treatment. And this kid was like a fighter, man. He fought bitterly till the end. He wanted to live. And what his dad, Lou, and his mom, Cindy, did is they turned this god-awful tragedy into triumph. They created this killer foundation that does nothing but raise money to find better treatments and hopefully a cure to pediatric cancers. So Amazon Smile and pick the Ty Lewis Campbell Foundation, please. It costs you nothing, and every little bit helps. Every dollar helps. When you get it all together, it really is a lot, and it helps. And it only helps if you pick it yourself. So Amazon Smiles and the Ty Lewis Campbell Foundation. Hey, Mike, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me on.
I appreciate the information you give to sellers. I love that you talk to sellers, okay? One-on-one, you can talk with Mike, okay? And he'll show you what he can help you with and also show you what you're already doing well. So thanks again. And Amazon Smiles and Ty Lewis Campbell. All right,
Thanks.
Mike, thank you.
Thanks so much, CJ. Hopefully we can talk again soon.